Welcome back to another Reddit Excel video where I'm going to be going through some problems on Reddit regarding Excel, and I'm just going to be trying to solve them and just hopefully give some tips and pointers of what I would do and how to maybe go a little step further as well and actually improve it. So if you like these videos, just don't forget to drop a like. Let's get into it. So in this problem, the person's looking for a formula that will help to return the X value, which I'm assuming is column A, where the first time value of Y, which assuming is these columns here, is greater than 1. So in more detail, they've done it with conditional formatting so far to highlight it, and then they're manually writing down this value here. So I'm going to show you how to do that with a formula now. So I have created a more simple data set here for this problem, and you can see your Y values here, and we're going to want to find this value here where it's the first value above 1. You're going to need to use index match, so I'm going to separate this into a couple parts. Let's start with the match, which will basically return the position in our array that matches our condition. So we're going to need a true lookup value because we're not actually looking for a specific thing. And our lookup array is going to be our condition. So the data here, where it's greater than 1 is what we want to return. And we'll have an exact match for that. And what that returns is 10, which, as you can see here, the 10th value down is the one that's above 1. But we need this value here, not just the position. So the way to do that is to use index now, and the array is the X values, and our row number is going to be this, which returns 10. Obviously in this example it might look like that would be sufficient, but if this wasn't uniform and say went up in 3s or 2s, this number would change. In this problem I'm going to show you how to create dynamic hyperlinks. Okay, so this person is having an issue with creating dynamic hyperlinks. They want to tie an external URL to a specific cell. So when they type in an ID number into a cell, they want to be able to create a link using that value. So let's jump straight in. So this one's pretty simple. We literally just need to use the hyperlink formula, and the link is, we're just going to make something up, website.com. And what we want to do is add on the input to the end of this URL. And all we need to do is just put that in quotation marks, and then the reference to the cell, and that's literally it. So now when this changes, we automatically create the hyperlink. This is also useful when you have a list and you want to create the links quickly, so you can just click on them. In this problem, I'm going to show you how to create a count based on multiple different columns in a single formula. Okay, so as you can see, this is the output that the person is kind of looking for. They basically need a summary based on the name in column A, and they want to count the instances in these rows where the summary date is equal to the minimum date found in this row. So for example here, the 6th of February is the minimum date in this row, so that would count as 1. Here, as you can see, that there's 2 of those, it only counts it once. Okay, let's get going then. So I've recreated this table in Excel so I can work with it, and it's going to be kind of complicated, and so I've broken it down into quite a few different formulas so that you can see it step by step. So this would be the first one, and basically what we need to do here is we need to apply the minimum function to each row, and basically by row allows us to do that. So what we need to do is by row, the array would be the whole data table and then minimum, and we want that to be equal to the summary date, and if it is, then it will return true, otherwise it will return false. So as you can see, we have that. So in this case, the minimum is the same as this date, so that returns true. But we can't really do anything with this because it's just true or false. It doesn't actually represent a value. So the next stage of this would be to use n, and what this does is it converts a value into another value basically. So a number will just return a number, true will return 1, and false will return 0, which is exactly what we want for this. So as you can see, where the match is true, it gives a 1, and we can use that to then create a sum. However, we can't just sum up these values because we need to be able to group by the name, and we want to do that automatically as well. So the way to do that is actually with a group by function. And again, so this group by function is very similar to the by rows. It basically allows you to group or do something or filter based on specific criteria. So here we're going to have the row fields as the name, so it's going to create the unique list of those, and the values that we're going to need to be grouping by are these. And the function that we want to do is a sum, so we want to sum per name. And then there's some other stuff in here where I don't want to show field headers and no totals as well. So let's just put that in. And as you can see, that grabs that there. Let's just double check that. So let's look at Jane, and there's only one row in here that has, there's only one row in here that has the 6th of February as the minimum. So that is correct. And then if we were to put that all into one formula, it would look like this, which is a bit complicated. So if you don't want to use helper columns, you could just use this. I would suggest to do it like this first, just to make sure you understand all the steps, and then when you're confident, combine it all together.
So there's been another Reddit Excel video. I hope you guys have liked that. If you want to see more of this and you have any other problems that you want me to discuss, feel free to drop a comment below. I've also created a subreddit for these sort of things. So if you have any questions, just drop me a message in one of those places, and I'll try and include it in a future video. So yeah, if you like that, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.